Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Pixar. We're going to talk about how they're trying to win back their audience, but it's really interesting. There was this article put out on Insider, and the guy who wrote the article is getting all kinds of backlash, but he's basically saying that the head of Pixar, current head of Pixar, Pete Docter, was not as tough on the quality as John Lasseter.
Clearly.
And a lot of people at Pixar right now are like, well, we finally got free of John Lasseter and we're going to turn things around, guys. And meanwhile, like every movie post John Lasseter has been a bomb.
Well, I don't think it's just John Lasseter being gone. I think Disney Plus also, because they were like doing these contests that were there. Like, you do what you do, you fam, and make your own shorts up to go. We need content in Disney Plus. And they were focused on that. So they were focused on multiple different little things, and they weren't always focused completely on the big things. And then people were allowed to do whatever they wanted. So, you know, the stories reflect that. Where Elemental is pretty, and I guess they used AI to do the effects on the characters to make them look like fire or water. It's very pretty, but the story is kind of like really a dud. And I think that's what's going on, is you have these people who aren't, they had the storytelling, the different, what are they, how many things of storytelling from Pixar.
Yeah.
And they clearly aren't using those anymore, nor have they been.
Those were John Lasseter.
Right. So I think he enforced that.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this. And look, there are people making their opinions known about John Lasseter. It's like, but he's a womanizer. I'm like, yeah, but he's a womanizer who made movies that made money. And at the end of the day, this...
But I'm confused. How come you're allowed to... Wait, I'm confused. How come you're allowed to say someone's a womanizer if you're not allowed to say groomer?
Okay, so as far as John Lasseter is concerned, for those of you who are not aware why he got gone, they said he was too touchy-feely with some people working at Pixar. The thing is, people know for years John Lasseter has been a hugger. Personally, I do not think he did anything that warranted getting terminated, but he was also, the way that Disney let him go, it was a very slow release.
Yeah.
So I think that my personal feeling, it's kind of like the Justin Roiland situation where he might not be a saint. He might be difficult to work for. There might be some people at work that don't like him, but they were basically waiting for an opportunity to get rid of him so they could do whatever the hell they wanted to do.
Well, what I'm just saying is if you're going to use that as your argument, then you have to apply that evenly to other people who do things that are, or support things that are questionable.
So let's talk about this. I think Pixar is broken at this point. And I think the next big shock, because they were shocked that they basically went direct to streaming, your stapler is being moved. I think the next big shock is when they merge Disney Animation Studios and Pixar together and they get rid of their campus because there's no reason to keep it. And they save a bunch of money. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Got to give a hat tip to Jaggins Junk, who sent me this. This is Jason Gracio. He put this article up on Insider, and of course, the cartoon stands have found him.
What, all 24 of them?
Yeah, well,
literally,
and they're old accounts, you know.
Of them.
But it's interesting, he put this up and then he actually highlighted this part. He said, Pixar sources said the studio's current CCO, sole director Pete Docter, lacks the intense drive for high quality that John Lasseter possessed.
I think the translation is they walk all over him over there and he lets them, probably because he doesn't want to be that bad guy and be like, he wants to be their friend, not their boss.
Yep.
He doesn't want to be accused of, some kind of anymore. I'm just going to say it. A lot of people that work over there, not all of them, but a lot of people that work over there would use the whole, you're a bigot, to get their own way. If you don't let me tell my story, it's because you're bigot. It's bigotry.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I mean,
misogyny.
I don't know the whole deal, but from the outside, I've seen this happen multiple times, especially with straight white guys in the animation industry. They tend to get pushed out. And a lot of times,
the ones that stay have to be a doormat to do.
They have to be a complete doormat. And Pete Docter, I've said before, he's a good director. I don't think he's a leader. John Lasseter, they said he practiced tough love. He was very demanding.
He was bad touchy, but he was a leader.
He was.
I'm sorry.
You gotta weigh the benefits. So if you're Disney and your stock's going down, it's like, well, do we put up with a guy who's bad touch but good boss, or what do we do here? Anyway, they said it didn't help Lightyear. Now, he actually did greenlight Lightyear, but I can guarantee you that his take on Lightyear would have been vastly different from what was actually made. They said Pixar source regarding Docter's kinder and gentler leadership. They said it resulted in the lackluster box office. I don't think John would have ever let Lightyear happen.
I agree.
Not in the way people did say that he greenlit. I think he was thinking this is going to be the Lightyear story.
I think we mentioned before that I think Lightyear and a few other things that did not do spectacular. He probably, early on was involved in before he was gone, because it takes years for these to come out. We said that before, so I would not be surprised if he greenlit it, but he was probably greenlighting it thinking, hey, it's going to be, Buzz Lightyear, like, the cartoon.
Yeah, if they had just done an update of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and, because that is a movie that Andy would have seen in the 1990s. I think he thought Tim
Allen Buzz Lightyear, and he got...
Yeah, if you had something that was basically, you had Tim Allen already, do something like Galaxy Quest, where it's poking fun at Star Trek and space movies and whatever, and I think it would have done really well. I think it would have done really well. So we've got the cartoon stands coming in here. Okay, remember what happened to Luck? That was the Skydance movie, right? It was a disaster. Let's not forget, Lasseter has zero respect for women, sir. Funny enough, a lot of women that worked with him at Disney went to Skydance.
I know. But see, Tamar has her own animation corner. Does she actually work in animation?
I don't know. Probably.
Building and experimenting animation, making manga. Yeah, makes her own shit. Okay,
the damage has been done. I agree with that. Lasseter was one who greenlit Lightyear. Yes,
which we've mentioned.
I think, again, the movie would have been very different had he
just because you greenlit something early on does not mean that's the final product. I can tell you for a fact. For example, we had pitched something to Disney once we talked about before. I'm only bringing this up because it relates. And
it's a sore subject.
No, but that's not why I'm bringing it up. The story that they had originally greenlit and announced, it was in the trades, it was announced, had a title, had a premise, everything else. They announced it. That is not the story they ended with, because the story that was announced later had some changes made that sounded very similar to somebody else's pitch, including the name change, which sounded similar to somebody else's pitch. But what they started out, what they greenlit, and what they provided at the end were two different things. They were not the same. So just because he greenlit Lightyear doesn't mean that he greenlit Lightyear that we got. It means that he probably thought Lightyear, the movie Andy watched as a kid, was a good idea. I don't know what he was thinking, but I don't think it was that.
No, and even talking in a language these people can understand, Netflix She-Ra, the Netflix She-Ra that was pitched was very much like the OG She-Ra.
That is true.
And then once it actually got picked up, they decided to have their way with it, and She-Ra became Ben 10, and it was all about gender identity. But the original version that was pitched just looked like an update of the original.
That is
show.
True. So what you get pitched and what's greenlit and what ends up being are not always the same thing.
Yeah, because basically what it is, because you work through the whole process, but what it is like we're basically thinking this is the kind of movie we want to make. And when you're John Lasseter and you help create Buzz Lightyear, and somebody says, "Hey, we want to greenlight a Buzz Lightyear origin movie," you're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's a good idea," and then he's out the door.
Well, what's funny to me is these people are all losing their shit. They're like, Lasseter's one of the good Lightyear. Lasseter, the luck happened. Yeah, what about the abuser's art? I directed Cars 2, Lasseter, master of quality. You can say this all you want, you little screaming shrews. But here's the thing. Pixar's box office is in the shitter. Like, they're losing money every film. Yes. Strange World wasn't Pixar. That was Disney. Well, Disney Animation. So,
yeah, they're good at losing money,
too. But also, Disney Animation was run by Lasseter, too. And they had to actually hire a girl to run that and Docter to run Pixar, because they had to split the job into two to make sure that these people could cover it. And you don't have to like John Lasseter. And it might be unrelated. Correlation is not necessarily equal causation. However, that being said, the movies are in the shitter no matter how much you scream about it.
Yeah.
Keep screaming into the wind. Because y'all are going to be unemployed. Half of you probably don't even work animation. And those that do probably, I helped animate. Yeah, I was an intern, or I was a storyboard artist. Because there's can't swing a dead cat without hitting 10 of those. But I'm just saying,
Yeah, so this is just kind of funny because it's like I will agree with you. I will agree with you 100%. Cars 2 was trash.
I agree with you.
Cars 2 was
everything
trash.
Lasseter did was great, and like I said, correlation is not necessarily equal causation. So him not being there might not be the cause of any of this. However, there has definitely been a decline in quality since Docter took over and Lasseter was gone, and given the amount of snark and ass chapped, whiny bitches on Twitter, they're probably friends with people who get to run amok at Pixar because no one's in there making sure that they're keeping people managed.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. And that's another reason why I think I could totally see Disney just to rein. I mean, they fired their diversity boss. They fired Victoria Alonso. Things are changing over there.
They fired the people that were in charge of Lightyear at Pixar.
Yes. So I think they're like, yeah, okay. Either you guys produce some hits or something. Like, how much are we spending? These movies are hundreds of millions of dollars.
We're looking at it wrong. They're all right. Lasseter's gone. They're correct. He did such great things, but he's over doing luck. So it's all their fault. It's all Peter Docter's fault and all your animator friends that are currently working there's fault that your movies are shit. So you can't even blame that. You're right. You cannot blame that on Lasseter. He's gone. He made some missteps. It's all on you.
Yeah.
Way to go. Proved your point.
Lasseter's movies, maybe they weren't all winners, but they made money, right?
But you're right. Lasseter's gone. He was behind luck. You're right. It's all on Peter Docter and all of Jens. You're good.
Jens. That's the Pittsburgh creeping out.
You made me so pissed. Pittsburgh's creeping out.
You made her so pissed. She Pittsburghed.
Ironically, Pittsburgh beats LA all the time in tech jobs, quality of living, food. Yeah.
Yes.
So
cost of living as
well.
Get
on our level.
People aren't shitting in the streets as much anyway. Anyway, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Pixar's slump and soul, and we'll talk about the Disney Plus thing too. But this is interesting. They said they blamed on Pete Docter, who's not as tough on quality as John Lasseter.
But it is Pete Docter's fault because John Lasseter's not there.
They said that the work of marketing Elemental began, and they said it was confusing. The advertising was confusing. It didn't sell the positive message in the movie.
Strong enough. I'm sorry, from my understanding, there wasn't even a stupid bad guy in the movie. It wasn't the positive message wasn't your problem.
So here it is, and this is what my take has been. I mean, you saw the decline because he was fired during the production of Toy Story 4, and you can see it. Like Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 were like gold standard Pixar.
Toy Story 4 didn't even need to be a thing.
Toy Story 4 does not need to exist. Lightyear could have been a fantastic movie as well, but he wasn't here to oversee it. So they said several industry sources and some within Pixar believe the slump at the company goes beyond the bad marketing of Elemental. They said Pixar's troubles are because of the loss of John Lasseter, who had a reputation for never settling and demanding excellence, except for Cars 2. The director of the first two Toy Story and Cars movies. Here's the thing about Cars, just real quick. Cars, one, that was kind of his passion product, but
it was Hollywood.
It was a passion product. Cars merch sold very well. Cars toys still sell well. Lightning McQueen toys still sell well. Disney probably told him, make more Cars so we can sell more toys.
That's probably true.
Probably what
I
happened.
still hate Cars because I never liked it. It was Doc Hollywood.
Yeah, I never liked it.
And I never cared for Doc Hollywood. So there you go.
The third one was better than the second one.
Never
though. That's not saying
I
much.
gave up after the first.
All right. He said he was the CEO of Pixar and Walt Disney Animation Studios. Lasseter never shied away from tough love if something on a project wasn't good enough. He was ousted in 2018 following misconduct allegations. He admitted to missteps. Now he's the head of Skydance. Pixar sources said the studio's current CCO, sole director Pete Docter, lacks the intense drive for higher quality that Lasseter possessed.
Oh, so this is coming directly from Pixar animators.
Yes.
Not the wannabe animators on Twitter who are screaming because their friends are their friends want to be in charge, don't want to be bossed around.
Some within Pixar. That didn't help. Lightyear said a Pixar source regarding Docter's kinder and gentler leadership, which they said resulted in the lackluster box office.
He doesn't want to hurt their feelings or mostly he doesn't want to get, he's afraid of them is what's going on. Because if you don't do what they want, give them what they want, not all, there's a lot of people in there who don't behave that way. But there's a certain type that, it's because, you're a meanie pants. Literally, because Trump won the election, they needed a safe space. I'm like, how many elections we, were around, people we wanted to win didn't win?
Yeah.
You just suck it up and fucking deal with it, God, these are the same type of people. I wonder why they can't handle tough leadership.
John would not have let Lightyear happen. Yeah, he did greenlight it, but again, I think he wouldn't have, if he saw it wasn't working, if he saw the direction wasn't working, and people aren't going to be into this, and he wouldn't have watched this, I think he would have said, you know what, let's either scrap it or push it back or something and make it work. I think his version of Lightyear would have been
I don't know how anybody could look at that and think it was going to work.
Yeah. They talked about how they devalued Pixar when they put the movies on Disney Plus.
100% agree with that.
So, yeah, here, this person here said Disney devalued Pixar's brand by teaching families they can just watch it on streaming.
It's true.
It seems the flaws that Disney inflicted on Pixar will not be fatal. No, I don't agree with that. Pixar show still had some zip on Elemental as it rebounded a little
It didn't
bit.
really rebound. I'm sorry, that's still losing them. Okay, this is what I don't get. It's going to lose them millions, right? Tens of millions.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, guys, it paid up a few extra $1 million, so it's rebounding. It did 18.4 in the second week. It's still nowhere near what it needs to bring in to pay for itself, okay? Nowhere near it. So rebounding slightly by a few $1 million is not winning or saving Elemental. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Numbers don't care about your feelings.
They're going to let it play in theaters until Labor Day. They said that's how much the studio believes in it. I think they're trying to get as much money out of it as they possibly can.
That's more what I think is going on.
I think they're freaking the hell out. And we've done videos about this before. And look, if you're just a grunt at Pixar and you're finding out that your movie is getting, punted over to Disney Plus, it's just content on Disney Plus, it would be demoralizing, right?
Well, we talked about it, and we said that they were all upset about it, and we could understand why, because it was that they were being relegated to Disney Plus. It was going to hurt them. But to be fair, though, I'm thinking of the recent movies I'm seeing coming out of Pixar, and I'm like, would I actually go to the theater to see any of them and pay for it? And the answer is no. I wouldn't have. The most likely I would have was Turning Red, and that's saying something. And why Elemental looks very pretty, and I do think it looks beautiful. I mean, it does. That's gorgeous.
Nice.
I agree. But you doesn't matter how pretty something is. If the story sucks, or the story isn't engaging, or the story is lacking, it doesn't matter how pretty it is. We work in comics, for heaven's sakes. That's something you usually, you can have poor art but have an amazing story and it's going to do well. Where if you have amazing art and a shit story, you're probably not going to get as far. I'm sorry. That's how this works. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about it.
Yeah, and they said they're trying to win back the animation crown. I'm like, I think Illumination has it at this point. I mean, as far as the box office, because at the end of the day,
you have to bring butts to the seats.
That's what it's about. I mean, I hate to be that guy because there are some amazing indie animated movies. Klaus
deserved to win over Toy Story 4. Just saying.
One of my favorite animated movies of all time is Rock and Roll, which made no money. Made no money at the box office, but I freaking love it.
But again, it's one of those things where it was for a niche audience and it was cool looking, but was it really something that was marketable?
No. And
that's just it.
And I love...
Do you want money or do you want, accolades? That's your choice.
And
sometimes you can get both. Like, they had Coco and the original Toy Story.
Mm-hmm. Inside Out.
Yeah.
Dory, Finding Nemo. You can do it. And I think they were just so used to winning that, this is just kind of crazy for them to...
Toy Story 4 is overrated.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 is massively overrated.
Klaus deserved to kick its ass.
It did.
Anyway, I digress. Go back.
Yeah, so, I don't know, guys. I just think it's really interesting that their takeaway from people within Pixar is the problem is John Lasseter is not here. And these people. This is coming from somebody actually working in Pixar.
The problem is John Lasseter on Twitter are pissed. I'm sorry.
John Lasseter is no longer here.
Animation adjacent.
And the animation stands, who most of them aren't even working or have never worked and will never work. They will never work in the industry. You're right. And they're upset that somebody who actually has a job working at Pixar is coming out and saying that, yeah, John's gone. That's what the problem is. Why did so many people jump ship from Disney to Skydance if he was so awful to work
That's
for?
Right.
A
lot of people that were so mad about him changed their tune and went to Skydance anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not saying he didn't do things that, might have raised some eyebrows. And I'm not saying it was right if he did. No, I agree that would not be correct. I just love how, one person's behavior, should be not tolerated and they should be out the door, even if they bring it.
Disney's going to fix it. I'm telling you right now, they're going to, one way or another, either basically, I think
they're going to have to.
They're going to have to. They're either going to, Disney's going to look at this and look at the people they let go, and they're going to be like, you either fix this shit or you get gone. And that's going to be it. Because at this point, we're basically paying millions of dollars to watch you fall on your face again and again and again. And it doesn't matter.
Some people think that that's worth the money. But, actually they're not paying. No, actually you're wrong. They're not paying them money to fall on their face. And that's why they're falling on their face. Disney's not going to keep paying it.
No, they're not going to. Yeah, Disney's been footing the bill for these art house films that are therapy sessions or whatever. And it's not going to work anymore. So you're gonna have to start bringing it. This is the new reality. And we're gonna have another video day talking about the new reality for people that haven't gotten the memo that the money is running out. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.